I guess now that we're sponsored, I have to kind of start the show fairly early and be like, hey guys, just so you know, this video is sponsored by the great people at Grow Generation. That's growgeneration.com. It's where the pros go to grow, and more on them a little bit later in the show. Yeah, look, man, we're like pros now, all right?
Hell yeah.
Yeah, you need to get your light kit back out and stuff like that.
Oh, it's right up there. The audience can't see where I'm pointing, but I'm pointing to like a weird space because the roof is kind of, slanted.
Yeah.
So like a little ledge because I don't actually have like an attic or like a second or a loft in this place. So it's just empty space that only thing you can do up there is store boxes. Or in my case, my lights are stored up there. That's like the only place I know I won't break them or step on them or drop them or... Well, actually, I could drop them getting them down. We'll see. I can't reach them even with the chair. I don't have like a ladder or anything here. So
yeah, it is what it is. Go away, you. So it is a Wednesday morning. I want to say so sorry for missing out Monday and Tuesday, guys. Things happen. It's kind of hard to do the show by yourself, especially if you want it to be an hour. And so instead of just doing like 5 minutes or boring you guys for an hour, it was like, hey, let my co-hosts get done what they need to. And we're here on Wednesday. Today was supposed to be Comic Book Wednesday. I wanted a every other Wednesday comic books segment, Nick. So guess what? You're stuck talking
talk comics
for at least a minute. Comic books. What are you reading right now, man? Anything at all?
I'm halfway through a graphic novel.
What is that?
Collected Hawkeye Freefall. It won an award last year, and it's by my favorite comic author, Matthew Rosenberg. The first book of his I read was Tales of Suspense, 101 through like 106, which was what I wanted, which is what I based my pitch for a Captain America Falcon movie on when I wrote that article, because it was a buddy cop comic with right after Secret Empire. Because it was a buddy cop comic about Bucky and Hawkeye. Hawkeye being like the jokey one. He writes jokey characters very well, and like Hawkeye is that perfect kind of sarcastic you want in any kind of buddy cop scenario.
Yeah.
So it's those two trying to. Obviously, Black Widow just died during Secret Empire. Mm-hmm. Spoiler for an old storyline, but it's a big part of it.
Oh,
and this is them.
She's dead in the MCU too.
She's been spotted. She's been spotted around her. It's a rumor. So Hawkeye's going to find out if it's her because he's in love with her. And Bucky's trying to go out to prove it's not her because she can't possibly be alive. And he used to date her, but his is more of a professional thing. But half of them fighting each other is like because the new boyfriend, or like the two past boyfriends dislike each other. And obviously Hawkeye's too fun and Winter Soldier's serious. So yeah, Matthew Rosenberg, he's great. He's even doing a Grifter at DC, and he gives Grifter the same voice as Hawkeye. I don't think he has range, the author. He writes like Hawkeye isn't like cocky but silly really well. Because obviously Hawkeye's a joke, but he can be a very cocky individual, and his version of Hawkeye gets laid all the time and gets drunk. I don't know. That's what I've been reading.
That sounds interesting. I've never heard of that story, but then again, I quite often, and I'm showing people what's coming out today from the studios, and I kind of stopped reading Cape books after a few bad choices off of after Secret War in 2015, 2016, because you know how badly it was delayed. And I read Doc Strange. That was Lemire. Or no. Moon Knight was Lemire. No, Moon Knight was Bemis, right? And Doc Strange was... Let me see. Last
I don't know.
days.
I don't know every single author and what they've done.
Well, the thing is Last Days of Magic, Doc Strange.
I heard the story
there's
just
another,
mentioned today somewhere.
There's another book called The Last Days of Magic. Okay, Last Days of Magic was actually Jason Aaron. Which one was the one with the other guy? Was that not the Empirical? I don't know. I'm getting a little confused, but right after Secret War, I was reading Doc Strange. I was reading scroll down a little bit. I was reading Captain America. I was reading the one with Cap Wolf when he showed back up, and I dropped the book after that. And I kind of got away from capes and really got into a lot of more independent books and non-superhero stories like Rat Queens. You ever hear of that?
No.
Oh. Awesome book. It's fantasy, but it's like fantasy done by Seth Rogen. Like, it's filled with drugs and sex and cursing and ridiculous stuff, and it's over the top. I love it. It's about a group of female mercenaries called the Rat Queens. There's like an impish hobbit like character that just loves drugs and sex. It's like Hank Moody. But there's dark wizard elf type necromancer. There's a real cool cast, a female dwarf character. But unlike a lot of other fantasy I've seen, the dwarf females actually have beards too, which is...
Oh, yeah, you mentioned that before, and that was in
interesting.
reference to this.
It's cool. It's a good book, so I highly suggest it. I got into Saga, then Chew, Sex Criminals by Matt Fraction and Chip Zdarsky. Amazing books. What I'm getting at is that there's more than Image, DC, and Marvel.
It's so weird. Even my non-Marvel and DC books / TV shows I like are still cape shows. Like, I just got into Invincible.
How you liking?
Like,
how you liking that? No spoilers.
I love it.
How do you like it?
I love it so far. I mean, it's not the same. It's not similar at all to The Boys, but in one sense it is. Like, it's the graphicness. Yeah, and there's another element. So it's kind of funny that I think it's the closest answer to The Boys. Like, if you watch like The Boys, here's our competing show, but they're both on Amazon, so it doesn't matter.
Oh, geez.
It's an hour-long animated show, not a half-hour-long animated show. So it's pretty impressive. It's got an amazing voice cast, including Seth Rogen in episode 1 or 2, because just like The Boys and Preacher and all the comic book stuff, like that's not DC or Marvel on TV, basically. Seth Rogen produces it with his partner Evan Goldberg. So,
wow, yeah.
And J.K. Simmons plays Omega Man, who looks identical was drawn to look like J.K. Simmons from Spider-Man, like similar to J. Joe Jameson, but more like J.K. Simmons. And I bring up one of the reasons I bring up that title is that's going to be the next comic I read is through May if you're an Amazon Prime member. So you're getting the TV show. You can read the first 3 volumes, not issues, of Invincible for free on Amazon, like on your tablet.
Interesting.
So I'm probably gonna read Invincible next. I've watched all 3 of the episodes that are out, and now it's weekly, similar to The Boys.
Yeah, I had heard about that. Brian was upset because he's reviewing the show over at Pulp Mythos, and you know how it is, man. It's when you do these reviews, it becomes work to do multiple episodes in a single review. It becomes so much work. Or like season recaps if you're starting a podcast in the middle of a series or something. But on the back to the comic book side of things, do you read any books that aren't capes, or maybe things that are like kind of cape alternative, like Black Hammer, pulpy cape stuff?
Not recently, no. So I haven't gotten a bunch. Like I've just had to break down my comics to the bare essentials, and there's so many cape books I want. But when I used to get a lot of comics, 2 titles I got that became movies later that weren't capes or TV shows later was I got a book called The Secret Service, which became Kingsman: The Secret Service, and I got a book called Happy, which became Happy, the TV show on Sci-Fi.
I didn't know that.
Those are just ones I picked up because I knew the author.
Yeah.
And it was like a series of 6 comics. Yeah, I used to get those weekly.
There was a interesting one called Dave about a robot. I have to dig it out. It's like it's this weird story. Basically, just take the same idea of any time robots like rebel against their primary, design or whatever, and it's one of those, but it was done real funny, like for comic purposes, not just for whatever. But I can't. What'd you do? You're turning your screen.
It's 3D.
The important thing to do, of course, though, is go out and support your local comic book shop guys, because there's a lot of great stories out there. It's not just superheroes, and if you're into superheroes, there's lots of that, and lots more beyond Marvel and DC, like I said. But sticking with comics, but moving on a little bit towards the screen. Holy fuck, that Suicide Squad trailer and TV spots, dude. My goodness. That is all James Gunn, Guardians of the Galaxy up in DC.
Each TV spot, it's mostly footage from the movies, but just hearing that same song, I'm like, this is going to be the next Guardians of the Galaxy. Like, this is going to be the next ooba, baba, ooba, ooba, ooh. Like,
how do you...
it feels so great. It's just like it opens with that song, and you see the different characters in each trailer, because there are so many, and you see like from the ridiculous to the twisted mind or whatever of James Gunn. You're just like, this feels right. Like Harley Quinn felt right to me, both the TV show and Birds of Prey, which are pretty close. I'm like, these comics can be this, and Marvel doesn't do this, especially now that Fox is gone. Like Deadpool will be the last Marvel project that'll be. This is DC's advantage, is like the Joker and Birds of Prey and the Suicide Squad. Yeah, Marvel's not going to offer James Gunn an R-rated movie.
No, they won't even let Blade. They're going to make Blade PG-13.
They keep saying they'll
for Disney Plus.
Deadpool will be R, but
I believe
I guarantee if Deadpool is R, they won't even use the Disney logo. I mean like I said, they might use the Fox logo instead of the Marvel Studios logo.
It wouldn't be a Fox logo. It would just be
the 20th Century Pictures.
Studios. Yeah.
Studios.
Print as a studio, or did they keep the 20th Century?
It's just 20th Century Studios.
Okay.
And then it's Solar Opposites. Even though the first season came out under the New Order. At that point, it had already been made, so it said 20th Century Fox. And then this season of Solar Opposites, which just came out last Friday, and I watched all of in one night. So it's from 20th Century Television.
Oh, okay, cool.
So like, I bet if you watch a Simpsons episode on Fox TV, it'll say from 20th Century Television.
Yeah, probably.
Because the Fox network, local Fox networks, and even the
gone.
cable network didn't come with the deal.
No,
like,
no,
they already own ABC, and
it's the same with the sports stuff. Yeah, broadcast.
No,
channels.
they got the
no, they had a split.
No,
off.
you're right. They kept the channels separate because they already have Disney already owns ESPN.
Yep, that was part of the. They thought
then they made part of the Disney
yeah.
Plus package. Yeah,
they thought
I
they
got
were
confused.
going to be sly and get Fox Sports and shit like that, and Sports South and something else, and then the government was like, no.
Oh, is that something the government stopped? Because I know like they had no intent of buying like Fox News and local networks because they own ABC.
But they wanted the sports.
It would be competing with itself. Yeah.
Yeah, but they wanted the sports so that way there would be less competition. So,
I'm glad they shut that down. Like
there's
ESPN isn't I don't watch sports, but I hear ESPN isn't everything. Like there are other really good sports networks.
Look, here's the thing about and now we're getting into Wild Card Wednesday. We just got done like that's just like
we can bring ourselves back. Where were we? How did we get into
hold on,
this?
Hold on. It's just like sex. The Suicide Squad was so good.
Let's stay on that.
Just remembering it was like, I'm done. Ready to go.
Yeah, I need a cigarette, and I've been clean since September.
When it comes to sports, though, the only thing that matters is hockey. But hockey.
No. I like watching dodgeball on ESPN 8, the Ocho. No, just kidding.
The hockey season runs around the same time as basketball season and about the same time. And of course basketball is more popular in America. So during hockey season, ESPN, like the only hockey news you might get is like top shots for the week and maybe like top hits for the week and then the ticker scores and that's it. And then everything else is basketball until baseball season starts, spring training and baseball, and then they're all over that. I like baseball too, but you played water polo in
hell
high school?
Yeah, dude.
Yeah,
I'm the first ever water polo team
about it or some shit, or a movie about it on Twitter or something.
No, that's funny. So I was it's not a sport people talk about a lot. You know, it's not like you see it represent movies. I actually played it.
How do you get the horses in the pool?
Oh God. You went and did it. It's like people who say, "Aren't you a doll?" To me, it's just as
that would be
just as obvious
awful.
a joke.
Awful.
I have a weird dentist
thing
that today. I'll tell you about if I remember.
Before you answer, no. I got. Go ahead. I gotta write it down.
Okay.
I gotta write it down so I don't forget. Hold on.
Yeah, write it down. So I was one of the first eight players of water polo in the state of Colorado. Because we started the first team. Now there's a bunch. So it was part of my life. I played it first semester at Chapman. So I had no friends because I was playing all the fucking time. And I drank like the other teammates. But I was jacked. I was like when I was like 17, 18, 19 swimming and playing water polo and the end of high school and college, like I was like Tom Holland ripped in a way that I was so skinny that like my muscles looked my arms were actually thicker than they are now, and now I'm a fat person just because like you work out for like 6 hours a day to swim and play water polo.
Did you have that weird swimmer's upper triangle?
The neck thing?
Well, no, like the real broad shoulders, the straight taper.
Not that bad.
Okay. I've seen a lot. Maybe that's more of the
I have giant
tits.
Now, if people want to see it, that's kind of an exaggeration because I had giant pecs when I was a swimmer. My swimming team used to give out awards in high school at the end of the year that make fun of you, and I got like the double D award as a sophomore.
Nice. That's great.
Anyway. So it's not a sport you hear a lot about in movies. Like no one references water polo because it's mostly played by super rich people, just like polo, and it's mostly played in California. Well, it's played actually. It's evolving, but even in California, the only place that's a big sport is California. The bullies in the OC, which I've only seen an episode or two of, there were jocks who were water polo players, not football players. So it's in culture in some places.
Yeah.
But in
lacrosse is big out east, isn't it?
Yeah, but you see all these sports on TV way more. You see rugby on TV shows more than you see water polo. It's the Olympics at 4 a.m. is the only time you ever hear water polo referenced on television. But I was watching Solar Opposites, and the last episode of the second season is they all think they're going to die, so they want to have a fulfilled life, which is something a human tells them about. So one of the things they try to do to get fulfilled on a literal scientific fulfilled meter is they have to Mighty Ducks a water polo teams, like find the worst water polo team because it's the only sport in the world that's playing championships at that moment. So they use a gun that turns them into underdogs because they were actually good players, and then they coach them to the top of the water polo world championships. So they have to. So there's a bunch of animators had to sit around and animate water polo scenes, like throwing a water polo ball and like. And then it's actually mentioned in the second place. It's just weird. The documentary about the school admission scandal. That's like one of the main sports. That or rowing is what that cheater used to get people who paid to have their kids in school. He pretended they were going to the water polo team or the rowing team. But yeah, that was a wacky, weird direction. I gotta talk about water polo for like the first time ever on a podcast. I've been podcasting forever.
Yeah. Did you like what you were watching though? I mean, was it like a trip down memory lane for fun, or?
It was just cool to see it. You're like, someone like, because you're a football player. You've seen it animated in 1,000 shows. King of the Hill, Simpsons, South Park. It's like none of those shows have ever referenced water polo. There's probably a Simpsons joke out there about it because it's like 35 years old. Yeah. But I've never seen it animated, and it was just cool to see such a obscure interest animated. Whoa, I've never seen a drawn water polo ball in my life, let alone like people shooting into goals and moving.
What I wrote down is my wife did not know that my name is a meme. She didn't know all the Kyle memes. She didn't know about the Kyle and Monster jokes and all of that. And
do I not know that?
Apparently not. Look it up. Even George Carlin did a whole bit on
just the name
people
Kyle?
named Kyle.
Oh yeah, I've seen that.
Yeah, like
I didn't know it was a current meme.
Oh yeah, it never ended, and she had a blast the other night looking up all the different Kyle memes and stuff like that. And with that, let's go ahead and take a word from our sponsors over at Grow Generation. I have no way to segue to it. I just noticed we're halfway through the show, and now's a good time to help you guys learn a little bit about where to go to grow. So let's share the screen. Might have to do some editing stuff here, but we'll see. Let's try this out. You go full screen. Can you do that? Yes, you can. And
Grow Generation, where the pros go to grow. Grow Generation is your one-stop shop for hydroponic grow supplies, product systems, and more. Grow Generation serves customers across the nation and carries a wide inventory of renowned cultivation brands. Go to www.growgeneration.com, where the pros go to grow.
And there you guys go. Make sure you guys check out our wonderful sponsors. The link is in the description below. And
now,
Grow Generation, thank you very much for sponsoring LRMornings.
Thanks. And here's something I wanted to bring up when I heard about this wonderful new sponsor. I'm into what they're doing. You know, like this is my area. I've never done what their services offer, but I like what their services result in. If you know what I mean. So if they were so inclined, I'd be happy to take some free products, try them out, then
you got to
actually legitimately tell the audience on both shows. No, exactly. you get the relationship. We're starting it. We're bouncing it like our first date
we
with
need
them.
like 1,000 of you guys to go over there and be like, LRM sent us, and then Nick might get free shit.
We don't have like a code or something. That would be great.
Not yet.
A lot of podcasts have like a code where it's like they'll be like, type in LRMorn to get 20% off.
Yep.
But that's not. Don't do that because that
Not
doesn't
yet.
how it exists.
Not yet.
But no, but once we're in a good
yet.
relationship, they can send me a few products and I can talk about on this and Breaking Geek and Marvel Multiverse Mondays. I'm all over the channel, guys.
Do you want me to
sponsors? I can just be like, I can actually be like, you get Kevin Smith or someone who is famous and send him shit. He's like, I actually do love this product because I've used it. Like I've heard great things about this company, but I've not personally used them. But if they want to change that, DM us, DM at Geek
Doll on Twitter, and then
I'm sure I'll love it.
Now our boss is gonna yell at him.
This is how corporate sponsorship, especially on pod. I know it's not just podcasts, but especially on podcasts work.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
To more famous people.
Where were we at? Where were we at before we
were getting wacky?
We were. It's Wild Card Wednesday.
Wild.
Wacky. I mean, all that.
I like Wacky Wednesday. They both end with A's.
Wacky Wednesday.
I always make it wacky. That's why you need me every Wednesday. What were we talking about?
We're all over the place. I didn't. We were on the Kyle memes and stuff like that.
Yeah.
And before that we were on Suicide Squad. Someone pointed out something. Warner Brothers keeps taking Disney's directors. Disney keeps taking DC's actors.
Patty Jenkins.
What?
Patty Jenkins.
She was a Marvel director first. She was going to
direct
that's
Thor. True. She wasn't really stolen. She just didn't want to do the movie at that.
Yeah, but what I'm getting at is you got like
I'm just saying she's coming back, but
you got this cross pollination stuff. Well, she's going to Disney, not Marvel.
That's what she's going to. No, but it's still the Disney or Warner Brothers. It's about the studios, not the.
Well, no, I mean legitimately.
Disney likes to
Marvel and DC.
Disney likes to put their best in Star Wars and Marvel.
Yeah,
if you look like Oscar Isaac or a lot right now, but.
The reason why I bring that up is, Christian Bale's going to be in the next Thor movie, Russell Crowe, and then of course you had Joss Whedon do theatrical. We mentioned Jenkins, whose situation's a little different, but then James Gunn. When it comes to the Suicide Squad, I'm so stoked. My wife and I hated the original. We watched the extended version only.
You think I'm any different? I've seen between the two versions. I've seen it at least 10 times. Don't judge me.
It was garbage. And I watched that trailer and was just, it's dude. I'm sorry, DC guys. Maybe they did it first. I'm not so much sure on the timeline as far as the comic books, but that's Guardians of the Galaxy in DC and more grown up. If that's a rated R Guardians, and I love it. It's not a knock. It's not a knock. But
it's Guardians of the Galaxy plus Birds of Prey.
I haven't seen that yet. So.
Well, I'm just saying there's the R-rated funny DC movie that's being crushed up with James Gunn and Guardians.
Does that
team movie by James Gunn with Harley Quinn?
Does that bug you at all?
No, fuck no. I think every studio should share every director. That way, like, everyone can have good movies. Like, we have Star Wars and Star Trek, JJ, but Star Trek worked out better for.
No, not the stealing thing. The fact that James Gunn legitimately made Guardians 3 on Earth rated R. Like, just the fact that there's so much similarity. Yes, it's a James Gunn movie, so of course there's going to be that James Gunn flair to it, whether you're watching one of his horror movies or some of the stuff he did with Trauma. and some of you guys have no idea what I'm talking about, but go
Love
look
You,
at his-
Trauma, Cannibal, the musical's my favorite.
Yes,
I
thank
forget
you.
the name of your owner who's so eccentric and all over
Kaufman.
those Blu-rays. Yeah.
Andrew Hoffman.
He was in a documentary, The Last Blockbuster, and he didn't even talk about Blockbuster. He was just in it.
No, he cursed.
No,
at
he
them.
said Blockbuster were bastards because they never
Yeah.
carried
Corporate.
trauma films.
corporate
Yeah.
blockbuster, to be specific. Corporate
Yep.
blockbuster. Sure. So yeah. It's my only deal is it's just kind of like I'm so stoked, and it's not a knock against it. It's just kind of like I don't know how to explain it. Do you know what I'm saying? Like I'm conflicted about it because of how much Guardians I see, and it's partly my fault, you know, because that's what I know him, or you know, is his most recent stuff in my mind. I just hope it doesn't take me out of the movie at all, where I'm like, oh, he did that in Guardians, or he did that in you know what I'm saying? I hope that doesn't.
The trailer doesn't at all for me.
No, there was a few.
The only times in the trailer that I could possibly worry about during my watch not at theaters, at home. Honestly, even in August, I'm going to do it to save money. It's going to be free. Warner Brothers. Maybe if I finally have a higher paying job by then, of course I'd prefer to see it at theaters. But that aside, I don't know. The only thing that reminds me of Guardians is when he reuses some of the actors. There's
that.
Just a few, like you see Roker in the trailer, or you're like, oh, that's
And
right.
then
You see Steve Agee in the at the control room being like, it's a fucking kaiju. You're like, okay. And then even like his brother's playing like the rat creature, I assume is who his brother's playing.
Yes. And then
they haven't revealed. And then you also even have Taika Waititi as far as another actor / director who's able to play on both sides, because James Gunn, and they were just like, hey, I'm sure it's just a few lines, whoever he plays. But I hoped he was playing King Shark, but now we know that's not true.
Yeah, that's
It would have been an excellent King Shark.
It would have been odd to hear that voice, but it would have been cool.
Well, have you watched?
Made me forget. Oh, the plan joke too. Straight up Guardians. That's what I'm saying. Is like, even in the you just said I didn't see anything in the trailer except for this. Well,
that would be the only thing I think in theaters that would remind me of it.
Yeah.
Like watching the trailer, the only reason James Gunn, like the only reason Guardians comes to mind is in a way it doesn't bother me, but that comforts me, because I'm like, he knows what he's doing with those movies.
Yeah.
So even though the bag of dicks line isn't the most original line in the world, I'm like, it's funny because James Gunn did it, and he knows how to balance stupid humor with humor where you're like, nice. Like, he has the occasional dick or nipple joke, maybe too many nipple jokes, but he's funny.
There's a great, another great movie that seamlessly blended a brilliant amount of highbrow, clever comedy with just the right touch of bathroom humor, with things like ghost fellatio and the line, "Yes, Your Honor, this is true. This man has no dick." Ghostbusters, perfect example of and would you say balanced bathroom humor and high.
But let's be honest, we shouldn't be comparing James Gunn to Ghostbusters.
Why not?
Guardians, because Ghostbusters is too good. You can't just compare Guardians of the Galaxy to Ghostbusters. Ghostbusters better.
Oh, I get what you're saying.
I don't know. I feel like the classics shouldn't be compared to the modern films. It's hard. It's hard. I wouldn't even consider those the same genre, because again, we kind of discussed it. That was the mistake of the 2016 version. It was like, this is a blockbuster, with special effects and expensive comedians. Where the original Ghostbusters was like, basically all the budget is going into the comedians and like early special effects, not CGI, but like the Marshmallow Man, all that shit, building a little city and having an actor walking around. It ain't cheap. Neither are those like any of the effects. But it's comedy. here's the easy way for me to explain it. Like a buddy cop movie is best when it's action driven with comedy. Ghostbusters works the opposite way. It's a comedy with some action in it.
Yes.
And that's where I think the Guardians and Suicide Squads are action movies with comedy, not comedies with action scenes. So Ghostbusters is a slightly different camp, personally, for me than a Guardians or a
I can respect that. However, I will point out this when it comes to comparing the classics to modern films. There's one way you can do it, and that's only with certain that's only with certain classic films, the timeless ones. And what I mean by that is you got some movies are dated, right? Whether it's the messaging in it, because of the topic that they're covering, the style of story or humor, the jokes that they make are all, pop references from that time. Those types of movies,
like the first Muppet movie,
things like that. Some of those can become really hard to watch and definitely hard to compare. But some movies, other than hair and clothing, maybe music, they're timeless. Ghostbusters, Back to the Future, Goonies,
Star Wars.
They're
like Indiana Jones. They're too. It hurts me inside when I try to compare or rank a newer movie with one of those, because like they're so good. Like, how do I know this movie will be worth anything 30 years or 45 years later?
That's the comparison point I was trying to get to.
Jaws.
I don't know how many movies that have come out in the last, let's say, 21 years, since 2000. How many movies since 2000 will we be talking about in 20 years?
We won't remember all of them, but the Avengers franchise is going down like the Star Wars franchise, where at least people will watch the Avengers movies even 40 years from now, just like Star Wars. I think the
majority of the Infinity Saga will remain.
There are just certain films. Maybe
intact.
Winter Soldier and Civil War survive the 40 years. Iron Man will. Captain Marvel, probably not. Ant-Man, then probably not. Guardians as a comedy, maybe.
Mm-hmm. I don't
Captain America 1, not even. Just the two good ones.
think we'll be talking about the Avatar films at all in 20 years, except for the fact that Avatar 6 will finally release.
That's what that's one of my biggest wonders, is I used to be good at calling shit as far as what's going to be a flop and what's a success, but it's getting harder and harder as people become stupider and stupider.
Oh God, what do you mean? Because
I feel like Avatar is gonna not flop, but just be like, not even as big as like a normal a Marvel film, let alone an Avengers film. Because I don't hear a lot of people, and I talk with a lot of geeks.
Yeah,
who are like,
oh my
release
God,
Avatar, release Avatar 2, or release the camera cut. Like, no one's talking about Avatar, even as small details are slowly coming. Obviously someone is. I don't think it's a big enough crowd to, but then again, I'm just dealing with nerds. Maybe the mainstream outside of Twitter, people I know are like, my parents are, but maybe the average parent even is like, I love the first one. It was simple and had a clear message about the environment. And people are cool when they're blue. And that was the first time I ever saw 3D. Mm-hmm. That's my impression of someone. I saw 3D years before that.
It came out while I was in Germany, I believe. And it
2009.
Yeah, I was in Germany.
10. It was after I graduated college.
I was in Germany from 9 to 12. The second time I was in Germany, the first time from 88 to 90. 91. I was there when the wall came down. Anyway, and I'm old enough to remember it. I don't remember. I didn't know why people were celebrating, but I remember the night vividly. The night they started cracking through the wall. I lived in Giebelstadt, which is near
Giebelstadt.
Bamberg, hours from Berlin. But still, anyways, where was I? This is part of the.
I was following
brain
until you
damage,
brought
people.
up your history.
No.
We were talking about.
Where were we? Fuck, I don't know.
I was following until you brought up where you were
It's-
from. I mean, where you went in Germany.
God,
Let's
what were we
backtrack.
talking about? Because it
Germany
connected
going
to
back-
Germany somehow. How? Why did it connect to Europe?
Are we still on the Suicide Squad somehow?
No, I think we're past
Ghostbusters, Suicide Squad, Ghostbusters.
Past
Then
that. Past that. Fuck it.
how
I don't
far?
care. Black Adam is coming out. They
I'm
had a
brain
really
damaged
cool.
too, apparently.
Well,
Or
yeah,
our
no,
sponsor really needs to send me something, if you know what I mean. And I have apple juice this sweet morning.
Nice. Yeah.
So that's the morning.
New York had this really cool reveal for the Black Adam release date in Times Square, and posted it up on the on Instagram, and it's pretty cool. And I am going to try to see if I can share this
Show it to you.
screen. I'm
With
logging
the
into my
magic.
Instagram right now. Yeah, no,
Magic.
pause. You pause. Share screen. You ready to do your magic? Ready, set, play.
I don't think the audio is going with it.
I got it on. You might not be able to
Okay.
hear. But he says,
Yeah,
it's
but we
The
already-
Rock's voice.
yeah.
If you guys couldn't hear it, I'll let it play through one more time. The hierarchy of power in the DC universe is about to change. On July 29th,
And the
2022.
lightning strike is cool. I mean, the lightning
Yeah.
bolt originally has a loud noise with it too.
Yeah.
Doesn't it?
I
Everything
think
goes
it did.
black. That's when I would start blasting.
What's
You know,
that?
like I'm in Times Square, everything goes black. I'm like,
Oh,
the scrolls are here, and I take out my two. If all the lights went off, I'd be like, it's cyber warfare.
there you go. But yeah, obviously nobody did anything crazy.
And I was
'cause
kidding. A normal
believe it-
person would.
Believe it or not, the crazy stuff that people do hear about is actually very, very rare. It's just blasted repeatedly, but only sometimes, because I'm not sure. But I'm going to go ahead and give a shout out to Virginia Beach, since the majority of the media wanted to ignore the mass shooting in Virginia Beach a couple of nights ago, where 8 people were shot, 2 were
When?
killed.
8 nights ago?
Couple
Where
nights
was
ago.
it?
Virginia Beach, a couple nights ago.
No, but
Not
like just on
not-
the beach. It wasn't like
at
a nightclub, or
it was at several places along the ocean front.
Oh, so like a guy driving around shooting people.
It
That's terrible.
was
Yeah,
a series of connected events. So
My only-
either way,
I
for
bet
all
it'll
the
be on John
victims, for all the victims, guys, we're hoping for the best. Especially this is in my backyard, and to watch the national media not pick it up at all, especially after all the other coverage that others have gotten, was just infuriating, because victims are victims. It doesn't matter. So that
I
said,
only heard about it because of you.
we're gonna
And
go.
I get my news from Twitter. But I do want to say, even though the news did cover it, also feel some like pray or whatever you want for the Boulder
Yeah.
victims too. I mean,
absolutely.
I'm close to that in a similar way, and I've been close to quite a few of these things. And even though I'm never actually there or in that exact community at the time, I don't live in Boulder or work in Boulder anymore. It's, I know people who know people, which is,
yeah. So
for everyone who's a victim of this sort of thing.
exactly, that's what it should be about, is the victims. But we have a lot of great cool things going on here at the website. Some of you may have noticed a Twitter handle called Genreverse, with a logo out there called Genreverse by LRM Online. We are making a kind of a brand change for these for the podcast network. It's slow going. Don't worry. We're not gonna abandon you guys or send you out into the wilderness all lost and stuff like that. But by all means, please do head over to Twitter and follow the Genreverse at the Genreverse right here. Beautiful. Look at that. Low. Isn't it gorgeous, ladies and gentlemen?
Whoa.
It's all for us. It's all for us. And this
Is
wonderful.
This a real picture?
What's that?
Is this a real picture?
Yes, this is real.
How do we get that many followers already?
This is the I think this used to be the weekend account, and I think they just changed it.
Oh, okay, because I'm not even a follower of this.
Yeah, I think it was the weekend account, and they changed it. So smart.
Okay.
Super smart. But
like,
anyways,
that's fast.
yeah. So guys, look for the branding, okay? LR Mornings will slowly be rebranding as well. I will go ahead and tell you guys that we will become the morning cup of genre. Yes, I am that lame. I am playing off of Cup of Joe, Cup of Java, however you want to phrase it. I've got some more things for branding in the plans, and my ever-growing list of segments and things to do on our days, and more of these shows are going to become live. Nick, we're going to start doing
That'll be too early for me to help.
for you sometimes. Yeah.
Always.
Yeah. Well, no,
I only get up that early when I have a job. When I have a job, I'm
I was
not
gonna
waking up
say,
earlier than that to help you.
one day when you grow up and become a real boy. I'm joking, man. I know your
No.
jobs and school and all that. But we're gonna try to do these things live. It'll be great. It'll be lots of fun. We're looking for ways for you guys to easily interact with us. Things from leaving voicemails to and audio messages to potentially even calling in. I've got and kind of a joke advice segment I want to kind of do where you guys can message us.
Tell them it's a joke. Be dead serious.
Where you guys can message us, get something off your chest that's bothering you at work, at school, completely anonymous, and we will solve your problem. We will give you advice that you should definitely not take, but it's going to be worth listening to. So
No, you definitely should take it. Forget anything Kyle's saying. This is not a joke, people. This is not a joke.
Friday Frights is going to be every 2 weeks. We're going to get to talk about some horror stuff. So there's that. Like I said, we got our Tech Tuesdays. We do that every week. Lots of cool stuff. So be on the lookout for the brand shifting. Don't freak out. We're going to keep the LRM logo and stuff. You guys will know it's us. You know the stutter and this word losing voice.
And my annoying voice, not for radio voice.
You know who has a great voice though? That nice young lady that did the voiceover for
Hell
our
yeah.
ad.
Loved it. It
She's
was like
got a
watching
really
a
nice
professional
voice.
ad.
It would be
Yeah.
it would be really nice to hear that voice every day, wouldn't it?
Yeah, it would.
Thanks, Christine. I love you, baby.
Or more often on Mondays. I feel like we used to have that voice on Mondays, but
We
something
did.
happened.
No, so she feels that she doesn't know enough to be able to discuss deep on this. That she is too much along for the ride in this one. So she didn't want to bog it down. I offered. I was like,
I don't know.
come back during episode 2, because that one was different than episode 1.
There's
Maybe
an
we'll
angle that she could attack it from that we're not attacking it from, more than WandaVision. The sexy dudes.
Yeah.
We're actually looking at Jack. There aren't really a lot of jacked actors in
the whole
WandaVision.
reason I'm doing the long hair is because she thinks Sebastian Stan in Winter Soldier is hot. Well,
Okay.
she thinks he's hot. Period. But
So someone shared a behind the scenes footage of him, from episode 1 in black and white. And you look at it and you're like, that is still one of the scariest supervillain costumes in the history of comic book movies. Like, it is creepy.
yeah,
Like, but Sebastian Stan outside of that looks like the nicest guy. When you have the long hair and like the eyeliner and the mask,
yeah,
it's like, what the fuck?
I will say this.
Ooh,
Something that upset
chills.
me, and this brings it back to the comic books a bit. Okay. For those that don't know, Ed Brubaker really
My boy.
created the modern Winter Soldier.
And had one of the biggest influences on Captain America.
And one of the biggest
say.
influences, including killing him.
Yeah.
But Agent 13 and a magic bullet. It turned
Agent
out later
13,
on.
you bitch.
She
She was mind controlled, folks.
Yeah. So Brubaker released a statement recently because he's been asked a lot about certain things with the MCU, and he had some opinions on it, and I can kind of understand his feelings because they are taking certain things straight from him and things he wrote on page, but they're changing it enough that I don't know what's happening financially, but he did have some complaints. And I will just say Brubaker's an amazing writer and a great way to support what he wrote, which is every bit as great as what we're getting here, but in on a different path, because we follow Bucky more, and Bucky got the shield and became Captain America and all of that. Go check out Brubaker's Cap Run and his independent books like Incognito was really good. I really enjoyed that one. And
The
if you
shame
guys
of
are
this video podcast is that I'm like 1 foot away from reaching his The Winter Soldier compilation and
yeah.
the Hawkeye comic earlier. Like,
Nice.
it's right over there, but I
Yeah.
can't get to it.
It's all right. So you guys can find what he said online and see how you feel about it. Because when Endgame was ending and the shield was being handed off, and it went to Sam, I was okay because of one thing. I too thought I wanted to see it go to at least Bucky first, and maybe even do this Falcon and Winter Soldier show where it's like, Buck, dude, you can't. Sorry, man, you can't do it. Falcon, you're the Captain America. That's what I thought would have happened. But when Sam looks over at Bucky, and Bucky just
Sam also
nods.
knows that Bucky's broken in the head. I mean,
Right.
Steve
also-
does.
Right. And but Sam knew the connection there and the friendship and all that, and that's why Sam looks at Bucky and he's like, "Are you okay with it? This is your guy. This is." And if we look at especially episode 2 and that line, "Can't you and Steve accept, whether you like it or not, that I did what I thought was right?" Because even in Endgame, he looks over at Bucky and is like, "Hey, is this okay? Like, are you
And
good
he
with
made
this?"
his own decision.
Yeah.
That's really
It's a
good.
very, very interesting thing. So, it's a great show. Brubaker's Winter Soldier and Cap stuff is great. Check it all out. Support your.
So wait, what's
local
his
comic
complaint?
shops. I'm not going
Real
to get
quick.
into it too
But
much.
it's a complaint about not payment. At one point, you said there was a payment issue.
No, I
Store.
said I
Okay.
don't know about the financials. I
Let
don't
me bring
know
up financials for a second.
about the finance.
I don't know how it works for superhero films, but like, not even financials, but like, the guy. This is something This is a weird thing I'm bringing up from the past. Aladdin, live action Aladdin,
Mhm.
Lion King or whatever. You should be paying the original writers as at least adapted from the screenplay by, but they don't. And the movies do change, but a lot of it,
Not
the
enough.
structure is absolutely
It's
the same movie. The
same.
dialogue might be different.
Yeah.
Songs are the same, like Aladdin.
And a lot
Depends
of
on which
lines are the
movie.
same, too.
So like the guys who originally wrote Aladdin should be getting a paycheck, you
Yeah.
know, that was
And like I said,
adapted from, and maybe more comic artists. Though I did respect. Is Brubaker? Do you know if Brubaker's name isn't in the post credits? So I know Tom King got credit in WandaVision, and it's barely related to his comic except for the dog.
I know he had credits in Winter Soldier and Civil War, and I think even
which means he gets a little money.
But I'm not sure about this one. I think he said
this is probably far enough removed that he doesn't get credit anymore.
Maybe, and that's why
he basically created the Winter Soldier. That's created by not Stan Lee, but created by Ed Brubaker. Right.
It seems to be what his thing is. It's story. He's kind of like, you guys are taking certain aspects of what I wrote, what I did, and you're changing it, and I as the creator. And this is just my interpretation. Everyone can go out there and read it for themselves. It just kind of feels like he's like upset at the direction of it, story-wise. And not necessarily any particular aspect, just that it's not his story. You know what I'm saying? It's not the Bucky Captain America story, which is where he thought, I'm guessing, he thought it was going to go when they did the Winter Soldier movie. And like I said, if that's what his complaint is, I kind of get it, but I love this show, and we've got them both. I can read his books whenever I want, and I can watch at least 2 episodes of Falcon and Winter Soldier whenever I want for now.
And that was my original pitch on Breaking Geek, because I was trying to come up with a title for the show that would star Falcon and the Winter Soldier, or movie.
Just call it the Falcon and
I was like,
Winter Soldier.
no, I was like, do you call it the Captain's America? like that was the idea when I was thinking about it. Obviously, again, it's just a stupid blog I wrote, no one borrowed from or whatever. I was like, it'd be fun to see them competing for the shield throughout the movie. Like, I could be and this, I wrote this long before Endgame. Endgame makes it obvious Cap has a selection, but the two of them are both fighting crime, and they're throwing the shield and catching it from each other, but there are arguments over who should take the title. And so you'd call it the Captain's America or something when it was a movie form. But I like what they've done better, because I'm not as clever as Kevin Feige and co. So
I guess that'll be it for the day. That's a good wild card Wednesday with a little bit of comic book day thrown in there, and
a little bit of Harry Osborn in the
and now I gotta go through and make sure all of the wonderful new things that we added and all that work out well. So yay! You guys, like I said, keep an eye out for the changes. It's like Back to the Future. This is a blues riff and B. Follow me for the changes and try to keep up. And then check out the YouTube channel like you guys are now. Hit that red subscribe button and the bell, so that way you can be alerted whenever these amazing shows hit the air. And check out the podcast network. It's still there. Currently still LRM Online Podcast Network. Genreverse is coming as the main name in time. Subscribe, follow using your favorite app for podcasts. And yeah, guys, do all that and go check out our sponsor, Grow. God. Sorry, guys. I will definitely edit that. Check out our sponsor, growgeneration.com, where the pros go to grow. Nick, where can people find you at online?
On the top of Grow's Generation list of free things to get. No, I love you guys. Grow's Generation. Yeah. I'm at Geeky Nick Dahl on Twitter. I do this podcast sometimes, usually Wacky Wednesdays, as I'm calling them, because I make it wacky. But I also do Marvel Multiverse Mondays with Kyle, which is getting more and more successful, as well as Breaking Geek Radio, the podcast, on Fridays. And I write for the site as well. Mostly, I try to find articles about Falcon and the Winter Soldier.
You guys can find me at that Kyle Malone on Twitter, and at that one Kyle Malone. That's the #1 on Instagram. Thank you you guys so much for listening. Tomorrow we are live at 10 a.m. and Manny is back. So we will see you 10 a.m. Thursday morning right here. Thank you guys so much for listening. Bye, Harry. Bye.
Goodbye.